Salutations, fam. This is Dark Flame from HaltessiaGaming, and this is the first of who knows how many deck profiles there will be for One Piece. But anyway, I played in a One Piece event over the course of this weekend. I don't know the name of the event. Hold on, let me get my little special Dawn thing I got for it. And we return. Here we go. Got the little golden Dawn thing. But yeah, I played Gecko Moria. I got 6th place. I won some packs and stuff too, but like I opened the packs and I didn't pull anything notable out of them, so they've already been long since thrown into the bulk mines. I wish I would have like saved the packs though, because it would have made the visual look a little better. But yeah, Gecko was happy to play it. It felt incredibly ridiculously strong. The one match I lost, I just didn't really. I wasn't able to see anything. I just got unlucky. It happens sometimes. I wasn't able to ever get anything in trash, and I didn't see an Inupe until like the 7th turn or something like that. It was kind of rough. And even then, it was still a very close game. He was at like 1 life with like 3 in hand, but it's just because I was never able to I wasn't able to get board present until like super late. It got to a point where he was able to just kill me before I was able to kill him. And that's just how it goes sometimes. Without further ado, I'm just gonna go ahead and kind of run over the card list that I went with. But yeah, feels nice to play good old Gecko again. But we've got 4 Sindri, 2 Bart, 4 Perona for my 10-2Ks. Perona is the card you want to open almost every single game. I want to go first, start ripping cards out of the hand, start applying super fast pressure. Those are our 2Ks. For the rest of our blockers, we're playing 2 Cerberus. I've seen a lot of lists play 4 of this. I don't really feel like I need to play 4 because you know your deck. And I feel like you mill your deck fast enough that you're going to see it. I haven't ever been in a position where I've needed to like grab a Cerberus and I just haven't been able to. Like I'm always able to access it. Then I've got 3 copies of the Frankie Dressrosa blocker alongside with 3 copies of the Rebecca Dressrosa blocker. These cards are both phenomenal. They're just good blockers that you can play off your Gecko that also allow you to just kind of recycle further resources. They're what make it so difficult to pressure this deck, because in the late game you have the capability to just put 5 bodies on the board every single turn. It is so ridiculous. And then we have just a small amount of counter event. I'm playing, the 1-drop barrier. It's a 1-for-4 event. It's very easy to meet the trigger condition because you're just constantly milling your deck. It's very easy to meet. And then 2 copies for a counter event that I'm going to save this one until later, right? So we have 2 copies of the stage. You don't need to play 4 of this. Again, you're going to just mill everything. If you open it, cool. If you don't, you'll mill it at some point, and then you just grab it with Hogback and then play it like that. It's not hard to get access to your cards. And that's, kind of the core idea behind it, is that you don't really have to play a lot of copies of your stuff because you can just kind of mill your whole deck to the graveyard and then just kind of play from your trash. I'm playing 3 copies of Mancherry. One of the big weaknesses I felt when playing this deck was that you run out of hand size. Normally that doesn't really matter because, again, you can play 5 bodies so long as you have 1 card in hand and you're going to draw for turn, so you'll always have 1 card in hand. But the problem is that when you get to that point, you have no ability to protect anything on your board. So Mancherry in like the mid game, at least, will allow you to start like replenishing your cards in hand, right? It will make it so that you don't have to get to that point where you have no cards in hand. So like Mancherry. And then we have, the dog. Good old, the dog win. It's like a dog penguin thing. I don't know what it's supposed to be. But this is one of my favorite cards in the deck. You draw 2, trash 2 on play and on KO. It is super easy to trigger. You keep replaying it off the stage over and over again. It helps you turbo through your deck. And then the last of our 2-cost Thriller Barks, we're playing 1 Captain John, 1 copy of Kumasi. If there were a Thriller Bark card I would cut, it would be this, but I do like the utility of always having access to like cost reduction. It's only a -1, but it does also mill 2 cards off the top, so it's pretty good in that aspect. Being able to get a 3 cost down to a 2 cost, or just, just having access to easy access to cost reduction is nice. And then like this card in the mid to late game is just a card they just have to answer. You play off the stage, and then this card says, if you leave me here, I am swinging for 9 next turn. So they will always swing off of this. So even though it comes out rested, it basically serves as a pseudo blocker. And if for some reason they don't swing at it, they just leave it there. Cool, you get to swing 9 next turn. It's super free. Then we have our 2 Brooks. Again, you're milling your whole deck. You don't have to play a bunch of copies of cards to be able to see them. You're just going to keep adding and playing this off Rebecca over and over and over again. Very, very silly card. 1 copy of Lucci. Just being able to pop 2 cards is very good. And then we have the 1 copy of Ryuma. I'm only playing 1 copy of it because, again, you're going to mill your whole deck, and you just keep playing it from the trash over and over again. We have 2 copies of Absalom. This is your card that you play and pop 2 costs. If your opponent plays a 2-cost blocker, you say, no, you didn't. I'm playing 3 copies of Hogback. Again, you don't really need to play a bunch of copies of everything because you just play from the trash. Playing 2 copies of the Luffy that trashes cards. In some matchups, you find yourself in positions where you need to trash stuff instead of KOing it. So having ability to do that is very relevant, and so that's why I like this Luffy. Also, sometimes randomly you can just be like, I'll just put my trash back into my deck and swing for like 15k. So that's pretty nice. And then we have the big guy, the reason we are playing the deck again. The 6-cost Gecko. This card is so crazy. Let me see if I can get it into focus. There we go. So it is leader locked in that only Thriller Bark Pirates leaders can play this card. But if it's played, like when you play it, you can play any 4 costs that is not Thriller Bark locked, that is not color locked. So any Thriller Bark leader can play this card and then play any 4 or less from the trash rested, right? Then, and this is a very big aspect of it, is that it gives a rested Don to your leader or your character. So what you can do with this is you can play out this Gecko, play out a guy from trash, and then give a Don to your leader, still have 4 Don left, so you can use your leader effect, rest 2 Don, and then still have 2 Don left over. So you have 1 Don that you can use for the stage and play a card off the stage, and then still have a Don left over for a counter event. So, and because this is a 6-cost card, 6-cost character, you can do this every single turn. Once you have this in rotation, you can do it every single turn. It doesn't matter, like, so long as there is 1 in trash, you can do it every single turn, because you can go leader effect, play out a Hogback for 3 Don, right? 3 Don total, add this back to hand, and then for 6 Don, play this, get another character, right? You can play this, get a Rebecca, play another character, right? So at this point, you played 4 characters on the board, and you have used a grand total of 9 Don, at which point you can go tap stage and get a 5th character. So once you are in the late game, you can put 5 bodies on the board every single turn, and it is incredibly ignorant. It is incredibly ignorant. And then the last 2 cards in the deck, this is my one big guy, I play Isho. So I would say the one weakness of the deck, I feel, is that, like, as you get into the late game, you do kind of run low on hand size. So as far as like a big drop, first off, I don't really feel like you need big drops like that, because you just apply so much pressure so quickly that you put your opponent in this position in the like late game where if they dare to put a big guy on the board, you threaten just killing them next turn for it, right? So I'm not playing that many big drops, and I feel like any big drop that you do play, because again, your weakness is like hand size. I didn't want to play any big drop that required me to like pitch a card out of my hand in order to use the effect. So it's like I'm playing the Isho because it has a very good effect. Isho has a very good effect, but also it's very easy to utilize. It doesn't require me to trash anything from my hand, right? I do like being able to play this trash 2 cards out of my hand, but you know, it also it's a 9K body that's only 8 costs as opposed to like some of the 9 costs. Because the other card I was considering was Stussy. Right, was the 9 cost Stussy, but I do like the 8 cost versus the 9 cost. They're both 9K. They both have really good effects. This, trashes 2 from the opponent's hand. But that Dawn -1 effect is actually very relevant because this will continue being threatening every turn that it remains on the board. Because another thing about this is that while this is on the board, right? So let's say I have this on the board because I played it last turn. I pitched 2 cards out of my opponent's hand, right? I can now go play out Gecko for 6 Dawn, right? With Gecko, play out Lucci, and then with his effect, give Isho a Dawn, minusing 3 costs to every character in my opponent's field, and then go Lucci effect and pop 2 characters, right? And then I will still have 4 Dawn left over, so I can actually go leader effect, play out an Absalom, right? And pop another card on the board, right? And then after doing that, I will still have a Dawn left over to use my stage and play out another card. So again, it's just, you just always have 5 characters on the board. It's really, really stupid. And then if for some reason, like if you end up in a position where you don't need to like play characters, which is not like super crazy. It did happen a couple of times where they weren't able to clear my board. But I found that like I was playing against decks where they have like a lot of removal in the early game. So there were like, I would get to the mid to late game and literally every single turn they would like clear basically my entire board. And it just never mattered because I would be able to play 5 characters on board and they just cannot outpace me, right? They cannot outpace me. They can't outgrind me. And yeah, it just felt really stupid. The last 2 cards of the deck and my last tech card, because again, one of the other things that I felt was like a weakness of this deck was like defense. And so yeah, I'm playing 2 copies of I Want to Live. You mill super, super, super fast in this deck. This card reads, if you have, hold up, let me see if I can get it into focus. If you have 30 or more cards in your trash, add a card from the top of your life, from the top of your deck to your life. So you just gain a life, right? So it doesn't matter if they are swinging, 20K at you. You can just go, I want to live, and just take the hit, So I play 2 of this. Most of the time, you're not really depending on like drawing this and then just like, drawing it and then playing it when you have 30 cards in trash. Although that can happen sometimes. You can just draw it when you have 30 in trash. Because again, you just natively get to 30 in trash like so quickly. But most of the time what you're going to do is you're going to mill it. And then off of one of your effects, you're going to put it on the bottom of your deck on top of like another event or card because that's the other thing is you can stack the life you're going to have, right? And then like as you get to the mid to late game, well, this will happen in the late game because when you're at the point where you need like more life, it'll be in the late game, right? By the point where you're drawing this again, you're going to be able to use this to like not die, like guaranteed not die, and then also stack the life on top of it, right? So it's really good in that regard. So yeah, there's that. And yeah, that's pretty much the gist of it. But going over like the milling aspect of it, right? So let's just say hypothetical scenario here, right? Where is Sindri? All right, so Sindri, Thriller Bar, where are you? Where are you? Where are you? So we're just gonna do this, right? So turn 1, tap 1 Dawn, play out Thriller Bark. Turn 2, swing with leader, pitch something, mill 2, bring out Perona, right? Pitch a card, right? So at this point you will have 2 cards in trash, right? You'll have 2 cards in trash. On the following turn you will have 5 Dawn, right? You go stage effect, tap 1, play out Sindri, mill 5 cards, right? You will now have 7 cards in trash. You go leader effect again, right? Pitch, mill 2, play out another character. You will have 9 cards in trash, right? And basically, from this point, for the rest of the game, every single turn, you will be able to mill 9 cards, right? At that pace, on your 10 Don turn, by the end of your 10 Don turn, you will have 30 cards in trash. All right? And this is way before you will be at the point where you will even need to use an I Want to Live. Right? So it's a card that, let me put it like this. There was never a period where I had the card and I was like, oh, I wish I could use this, but I don't have 30 cards in trash. Like, most of the time by the time I'm seeing this, I have like 40 cards in trash. So that was pretty nice. And yeah, that's pretty much it for the deck. Like I said, if there were some changes I would make to it, I would probably cut the Captain John. I'd probably cut this probably for another Kumasi, because while, yeah, the utility of the -1 is nice, you do still have Perona for -3, but this one's like hand dependent. This one you can just always kind of -1, so it's like I'm kind of iffy on whether or not I would keep it. And like maybe Isho, but it's like the cards that I would think about cutting, I don't necessarily think they were bad. It's just like, if there were a card that I had to cut, those would be the cards I would consider cutting. But outside of that, the rest of the deck felt perfect. It felt really stupid to play. Every game was just my opponent playing on the back foot for the entire game, until they just ran out of the resources, and then they just eventually could not handle getting swung at 3+ times every single turn, no matter what. But yeah, that's going to be it. This has been Arim from HaltessiaGaming. Thank you very much for watching, and have a wonderful day.